Hi everyone, it's me, your man Uncle D from soccernumber10.com, where we talk about soccer tips, soccer training tips, and how to improve your game as a number 10 and as a player in general. Now, in this audio that you might be listening to either on soccernumber10.com or YouTube, Facebook, or whichever social media, I want to share with you the importance of understanding soccer and how you can improve your understanding via simple games that you play within your local communities and simple games that you play via external communities, so to speak. Now, there are many things that you will notice in your local community once you're playing soccer, and sometimes these things does not help you to improve as a player. You think it will, but it's not. For example, every weekend, every Sunday, Saturday, or Wednesday, or Tuesday, during the middle of the week, we are soccer guys. We love the game so much, so we try to find a few days where we can play in our community. And we tend to be playing with the same players over and over and over and over within our communities, right? And what happens is that you're learning a mental pattern. Not a pattern of the holistic nature of soccer, but a pattern of how to beat the particular player on your team or your opponent within that group that you normally play every weekend with or every weekdays with. So what's happening is you're learning how to beat this player, which is important in helping you to understand some minor mechanics of dribbling and footworks and attacking. But what's happening is that you are creating a problem psychologically for yourself, so to speak, meaning that you play against these guys all the time, you learn each other's styles and pattern, and you think you have an idea of how each players are going to move or react in a certain situation. So what happens is when you are on a big field ball game, for example, and you're playing more competitive, you are unaware of your opponents, right? You don't know anything about these guys. What happens is you have this initial mental block. You're wondering, okay, I'm going to push the ball left to his right, and so forth. And then in so doing, you mess things up, right? And what happens is you think that you're not playing well, when in actuality, yes, you might not be, because of that situation and how you messed it up against this particular defender or your opponent, right? But what really went wrong was that you had bad patterning. You learned bad patterns from your community playing against these same guys, and you adapt the same mentality. And then when you're playing a different game, your mind frame, it's important for what I just said, your mind frame is still thinking about playing those little minor games that weren't really competitive. I mean, what really was competitive about it? You were just playing against the same guys every weekend, bragging rights, cursing each other, trying to prove who is better. And when you find that you are doing this in your local community, playing against each other, trying to prove, oh, I can trick you this way, I can flick the ball over here, and I'm the, what you find out is that instead of your understanding improving of the whole game of soccer improves, you find out that it's decreasing. Because what happens when you have no one to prove against? What happens if you're in a real game and an opponent did a pretty trick? All of a sudden you're forced in the same pattern of trying to prove to, and then when you're trying to prove like a response, you're trying to prove, and then you lose the whole focus of the game. So what I'm really driving at in this audio, right, is that when you're playing in your local communities and you find yourself proving against each other and not trying to understand the one touches and the passes and the set plays and the defensive roles, the counter attack, the ball flowing forward, the receiver, the passes, and you're not focusing on these things, the dribble that creates the opportunity, and you're only focusing on proving, then you find yourself in this predicament that I'm driving at. your whole understanding of the game will still be at a kindergarten level. Now, what you can do to improve more or better, a better understanding of everything that I'm driving at, is whenever you're playing in your local communities and you find out that it's getting boring, you're playing against the same guys and you tend not to be able to perform well, what I want you to do is stop playing for a while. Just take a break, get your ball, throw it against a wall, do some one touches elsewhere, juggle for a day, think about the players that you play against mentally, just for a few days. Don't play for a few days, and then when you go back to play, you see a different pattern. You try to break this pattern of, okay, what if he does this? You understand, he does this, I do this, to respond to his body posture, to his movements, and so forth. And when you understand this, how will you play? Okay, he's trying to prove against me. I don't care about proving. I care about trying to pass the ball accurately, take my shots, and create opportunities. Let him continue to prove. Because what are you proving against? What's the point? I'm better than you. Oh, I'm the best in the community. Bragging rights. And you know what I'm talking about. You have this guy on your field, you're in your community right now. Every time he comes to the local game, he tries to prove that he's better and he's this and that, he's that and that, right? You can't escape that. These are things of soccer. But what I want you to do as a player and as a member of the Number 10, soccernumber10.com website, want you to understand that once you start to understand the minor things of the game, the basics, don't just try to prove against these guys immediately. Leave the community for a while. Go play, join a team outside of the community. Play against them. Go enter competitions outside of your community. Then build up your pattern recognition for positions of your opponents. And then when you come back into your community, you will be playing more confident. You will have a better understanding. Why? Because you broke the pattern. You're not playing against the same guys every week. And take, for example, one more scenario. You play on the same team every week. You have the same guys. You're building up team chemistry, which is good for a game, right? But what happens is that you also have problems. The problems is, what if you are not on that team? How is your chemistry? How will you perform in a team that it's unorganized? No one knows which leg is right from left. They just kick the ball whenever they want. They just run, and they don't understand the whole mechanics of moving the ball from the back up to the forwards, from the midfield dispersed to the wings, and from the wings to the center to create an attack, pull the defenders out of their positions, create an opportunity for your teammate, run off the ball, and so forth. And these things takes time to learn. But what happens is that you find yourself, as the player who is not on your same team, you find out you have problems. You don't know how to perform because you're not with your friends that you love to play against. And if you find out that you have this problem, you love to play with the same guys every weekend, what's going to happen is you're training yourself to adapt to this pattern, which is no good for your soccer growth. You need to break it. Get off that team, leave those guys for a while, play against them, and see if you understand how the ball will move just the same way how you did when you were on their team, how you move the ball. Try to understand how to break up that ball movement. Try to understand how to create counterattacks against that ball movement, and try to understand these things. And I promise you, by implementing some of what you have just learned from this audio in your next games, you will see and understand that your growth of soccer will improve immensely. Now, understanding and the mental approach of the game takes time. Sometimes you will try to go hard at it, and then you'll find out that you're failing bitterly. Soccer is a patient game, requires some practice and understanding. Once you understand the fundamentals of soccer and understand some of the intricacies of the things that I've just talked about within this audio, you will be able to play well. I want you guys to go out, knock them dead, and have fun doing it. Take care. It's me, your man, Uncle D. Peace out.